Right. Welcome to Bunto's low-key spasmodic event. Beautiful notes that can't be touched, like moderate Muslims. And our special guest tonight, Lindsay Liu. Please, Lindsay, your poem.
Alright, it's a depressing poem about my shitty life that's not so shitty. And it's called Reality. Panic in the mindset, it's there, wanting nothing more to cause doubt in itself. Does it cause the worrying? After all, I'm a warrior. I'm a warrior as well. Manic, it's there, over controlling, out of control. I feel my mind and soul. My body can go for days as I abuse it more and more. I become more obsessed with myself and desires. At this moment, I would say I'm steady on the manic phase as I'm on my meds. They help. But if I was to take them, like I was supposed to, I doubt that this would happen. It's just who the fuck wants to be a zombie anyways? The lack of emotion, zombie oversensitive fool, mania is irrational. I can get go and go and go and go and go. My mind is swollen, ready to explode. I chew my nails as though it's part of me. I always done it, and I'm highly medicated, so not so much. I may not be so strung up, so maybe that's a sign to stay on them anyways. But there, that's better. That doesn't change the fact that I still feel this way. Someone mentioned to me that it must be painful. I guess it can be. It's so frustrating and wanting to destroy my ever being, my mind and spirit and soul. I feel my disorder mold and creak in my veins and mold me as though I'm a piece of clay. It scares me a lot. What am I to become in this vast reality?
All right.
Yeah.
That was really good. Things that came to mind is first, the intensity. Okay, first thing I wanted to say was you can see the poem over at my art site, Impacted Shit, and I'll put the link in the comment box. But another thing is that it had an intensity. I'd say this is like one of the most intense poems I've ever heard you come up with. How long did it take to write?
Let's see. What time did I write that? I wrote this at 9:30 a.m. I would say I started at 9:10, and I wrote it Thursday, January 8th.
It's just incredible that you're so prolific. To me, I think it takes me like days to come up with stuff sometimes. I mean, I can come up with I have to always go back, and polish it. I'll write it and then I'll sleep on it for a night or two, come back and forth.
Sometimes I don't know what to say. I just say words and I spew it out over and over again. You don't know what to say. You just say out in your heart. You write it down. You type it down. You have nothing else to say. You just say out your heart.
Really?
You got nothing to do but express, explode, slicing your tongue as though there's nothing else to say.
Have you ever tried being a rapper?
I'm trying to change my poetry to spoken word.
Right? I mean, can you do rhyme? Can you do lyric?
No.
You should try it.
Well, who do I know that knows how to play the guitar? Well, I'm becoming friends with my friend Christina again, and she can play the piano, so I was gonna probably
Yeah,
get
get
her to
together.
play a tune,
Right?
and then I could write a poem for it,
Yeah.
and then we could upload it to YouTube.
Okay, do you like rap?
Not really.
Any rap? You don't like any rap?
I like Eminem.
I mean, do you appreciate the lyricism or are you just like the beat?
I like the lyrics.
I don't know. I think rap is a lot of its beat, just the freaking beat.
Oh, like beatboxing?
Sometimes, yeah. And then like I was thinking about like the hump, do the hump, the hump. Remember that song? Do the hump.
No.
You don't remember that? Well, maybe it's too old, but it had like this sort of groove. Do the hump.
No.
Well, I like I like the music more than the lyrics. I guess the lyrics are okay. You learn some. Like I like listen to Ice Cube, learn some of his lyrics, but I like the rhythm. I mean the music more than the lyric. It was a good time of music back then, gangster rap before it, got
Buckwheat,
old.
the rebel without a cause.
And then like this is like music before that Wu Tang Clan came forward, hip hop gangster. Then Wu Tang came, and everybody coalesced around them, solidified. Do you like the Wu Tang Clan, Lindsay?
No.
Because it's just so corny.
I don't really listen to a lot of music. I never grew up listening to music. So I only started listening to it in my
Now,
uh, teen years, more so in my 20s.
like when people turn their stereo really loud, does it bother you?
No.
You're not like a noise hater that you think the stereo's too loud?
Well, I'm hard of hearing.
Okay, so I can turn the stereo full blast.
Yeah, you can. I don't care.
And like turn the TV on really loud. You're not going to tell me to turn it down?
Usually things that piss me off, I just ignore.
Uh-huh.
Unless it's really frustrating. What bothers me the most is that I will be doing something in my house, in my controlled environment,
Right.
and someone will turn something on and it will be loud. And I'll say to them, "Excuse me, I am watching something here."
Yeah. Can you turn it down?
I make them get headsets.
Yeah. Like how many rooms are there too?
Uh, there's the living room, then the kitchen, and the hallway, a bedroom, one bedroom, a storage closet on the other side, and a bathroom.
Yeah. Hmm. So, do you like to cook or are you just pretty lazy?
I'm pretty lazy, but I know how to cook.
Like every day you cook or you just every other day you cook?
It really depends on my mood.
Like every day I have to cook practically for my mother, make her something to eat.
Hmm.
So it's like, you know, every day I'm doing something in the kitchen.
Cool.
But I mean, it's not like intricate stuff. It's like, doing a pot pie or making soup, maybe, cooking a steak or fajitas. It's not like, slaving in the kitchen. I really don't like to slave in the kitchen. I think the thing I spend the longest time is when I make Italian food, when I make like, spaghetti sauce and spaghetti. That's probably the longest time I'm in the kitchen. You know, I'm a pretty fast cook actually.
Oh, cool.
Like sometimes I watch those cooking videos and those guys are like, diddling with their food every minute. You know what I mean? It's not like I want to let it sit there and burn, but I'm not like that where you just have to, always be in the kitchen diddling with your food. I like put the, chicken in the oven and walk away. And then you know what you also have to do, Lindsay? Like the night before, you have to take the meat out of the freezer. You can't forget because you have to let it thaw out, right? But you can get stuff from the store that's already seasoned. So all you got to do basically is just cook it up, a certain way. It's pretty easy.
Sorry, I ran over to some files and
Oh,
stuff
that's
like
fine. It's just like it's like okay to be boring. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, you're boring.
I,
Mine
I
too.
love listening to the silence. It's like zzz. Okay, you burn incense and all that shit, patchouli.
What?
You burn patchouli and incense and
No,
vanilla,
I'm
cinnamon.
allergic to that stuff.
Oh, you are? Okay.
Um, sometimes I burn sage or sweetgrass.
Did you say you're like a hippie?
Yeah,
So you believe in peace and love
yeah.
and tattoos.
Personally, I don't have any tattoos. No one in
Uh,
my family has a tattoo.
Would they get mad when you got a tattoo?
No, I have a lot of scars, so they're already mad at me.
Tattoo them up. Tats.
I don't need an imprint on my skin to remember something. I already have imprints on my skin, and I remember each one of them. Of
Yeah,
course, they're bad imprints, but I don't want a good imprint. I don't see the point.
I was thinking that it's just to show people off. It's like a distinguishing mark. You know,
I don't need to feed my ego.
you don't want people to say, "Hey, that's a cool tattoo,"
I would get a tattoo solely for myself.
for your own enjoyment.
Yes, like I want to get a happy face on my finger, so when I look at my finger, I always have a happy face, and I will always smile at it, and I'll always be happy.
Which finger,
No, I want to have it like on my left hand,
right? Like on the fingertip or where?
on my index finger,
Like,
between the knuckles.
I wonder if that hurts.
Probably. But like I've actually broken ribs hurt more, and I've broken 4 ribs.
How'd you do that?
So
Car wreck?
no, my cousin broke them.
Oh, how
Yeah,
long?
fighting.
And how long were you laid up?
Oh, I don't know if they were broken or bruised. I couldn't tell. I never went to the doctor.
Damn. Well, yeah, there's not much he could do except just watch him heal. Hey, kids, what's up?
Not too much. How you doing?
Pretty good. Hey, kids, you know my friend Lindsay? Lindsay, this is Kazume. Kazoom.
Yeah, we met. We've talked before quite a
Oh,
bit.
I'm sorry.
Well, not
Well,
that much, but we talked.
my freaking cognitive. This is like a low key. I got so hammered yesterday, man. Just hung over all day today.
Yeah, and he let a bunch of women take over his hangout, and then they realized that it was a live hangout,
And they
and they
fled.
got all freaky, and they're like, "Oh, I thought this was a personal offline hangout. I'm out of here," and then they left.
Hey, guess who was at the hangout, kids?
Jeff?
No, they're all women. Jenny Blank.
Oh my.
She was freaking putting it to me, dude, hard.
In what way? What do you mean?
Well, what was I saying to her, Lindsay? It was like, okay, how can I win your love, Jenny? And she was like, I'm shopping at the wrong store, right? I'm shopping at the wrong store. I don't
Yeah,
have enough money.
shopping,
I should.
shopping at the wrong store,
I
and
sh-
you'll never be able to find someone because you
right.
want an alpha female, and an alpha female will never like
Go to the
surrender
loser. Really,
herself to a man.
go to a
Some
loser like
bullshit.
me because I'm supposed to stick with low key people. Not low key, but would you say low end people? Low self esteem.
Hmm.
Yeah, they said that Bunto is seeking a woman with low self-esteem, which I didn't get that at all.
I didn't get that at all either, man.
And then they said, "Oh, look, everyone in your room is against you," and I was there, and I'm like, but they didn't really listen to me, so I like, this is whack, and I left. But I still watched it. I watched it go downhill, and then I'm like, this is stupid. I'm going to bed.
Yeah, it's there. Yesterday's hangout, kids. Um, I said, how can I win a woman, kids? How can I get with a woman? And they basically said, forget it. I can't hear you because you're eating with your mic off.
I didn't know what to say, so I didn't know how to respond.
um, well, okay, that was yesterday, and it was all drama, don't you think, Lindsay? Now today's hangout is gonna be low key. Um, Lindsay said that she broke her ribs and just self-medicated and healed. Have you ever like broken any bones? I've only broken my hand, my nose. I've never broken any of my legs or arms.
Someone cracked my rib from giving me a bear hug.
Oh yeah? So how long did it take to heal? Like a month?
About a month, yeah.
Did you have to go to a doctor or you just self-medicated?
I I went to a doctor to inquire about it, but they were like, "There's nothing really we can do anyway. I mean, you could
Right.
take painkillers, but it'll just heal up." So, and it did.
Where was it? In the lower end or the high rib cage? Oh, sternum area?
Yeah, yeah.
Man, that was just a bear hug did that from behind or from front?
From the front, and he's not a heavy set guy. He's a really relatively thinner guy, and
He just
biker
squeezed it?
biker kind of mindset, and he just really did. And I heard the click, I heard the crack
Yeah.
sound, and then I almost threw up because I was like, "Holy shit! Holy shit! Holy shit!" And oh, he felt so bad. He felt so bad, and but it was all fine in the end. So
Yeah. So, Lindsay was in the lower ribs where you broke your ribs or high end?
I don't remember.
I might like,
All I know is just fucking hurt.
yeah, it
God,
hurt. Like, I think I popped a ligament. I don't think I cracked a rib because didn't it affect your breathing, kids? Did you breathe normally or it didn't affect your breathing at all?
it affected my breathing a bit. When I would breathe in all the way, it would hurt a lot.
Yeah. Like I don't have pains with my breathing. It's just, when I sleep on it wrong. I hurt mine on the leg press. I was doing the leg press and I heard a pop. I've done it before. It's like popping an oblique. So I just like the. It happened last Friday, not yesterday, but last Friday. So it's gonna take like 2, 3 weeks. So I was thinking about going to the gym tomorrow just to freaking do the treadmill, but I don't know. I might go just to see if the people are doing. Yeah, exciting life. So what'd you do today, Kiz?
Not a whole lot. I went on a hike, a little bit of a trail thing. Not much of a hike. I'm just, I guess I went on a trail walk. You know, it's raining and stuff, but I just took my umbrella with and went on a trail walk, and
What's the temperature?
I don't know, it was about 42 or something.
Oh, it's warmer over there. Yeah, it's 33 here.
Well, that's what it was at the time. I don't know what it is now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good to get outdoors.
hmm
Uh,
I mean, ever
going
since
out,
I was in Eureka and was doing all that walking,
right.
I realized it made me feel pretty good. It helped me. And so I'm like, I at least have to get out at least every other day and do some sort of some sort of a brisk,
Physical activity, yeah.
yeah, something. So so yeah.
Walking around the neighborhood for like an hour. That's like an activity. I do it. I walk around the neighborhood. Case
I'm
houses,
walking on sunshine. Whoa, don't you feel good?
That brings back memories. Okay, Kiz, you like rap music?
Not much of it. It's rare for me to like rap. So
Okay, if you like rap, is it for the beat or is it for the lyricism?
um, most of the lyrics of rap I think suck. It's most rap is just someone bragging about themselves. So not all rap, but most. And the music can get kind of dull after a while and pretty repetitive. So I just it takes a rare artist for me to get into them. Like I can get into Eminem, for
Eminem.
instance, because one, I can understand all of his words. Two, he mentions things in a way that's relatively interesting.
Right.
He can be over the top, and sometimes he can get a little bit braggy, but most of his bragging is about how good he is at rhyming, and he's damn good at rhyming. You can't deny how good he is at what he does.
So you like the lyricism.
And I like rhythm patterns that are different. I hate it when there's just some rap where it's just it's just like, oh, come on, you can like what down with OPP. I can't stand the verses to that because it's just like that's all it is. It's like, okay, and Eminem just really mixes it up. He has some really interesting rhythm patterns in the way that he raps. I think his rapping is interesting.
All right, that's an interesting outlook. Um, Nowadays we have people like Nicki Minaj, right? Isn't that her name, or did I mess it up? And I don't listen to any of that stuff. I guess kids do, but I don't. Um, I guess I don't know what I'm trying. This is the market, Kids are listening to that stuff. I guess if they put it on a video game, you can listen. I mean, put it on, yeah, a video game. But they use like music from the past on video games. They don't use new music. Just my observation.
Well, some do. Some games do use new stuff.
Um, all right. When was the last time you went to the movie theater, kids?
The last Harry Potter movie?
Really? You took a kid to it or what?
No, my mother and I went.
Oh, really? She wanted to see it?
Yeah. Yeah, we're fans of it. I'm a fan of the movies. I'm a big fan of the movies, of those
All
movies.
right. Um,
The movie sucked balls compared to the fucking books. I saw the second movie. I was so disappointed in it compared to the book.
Well, I know that. I mean, I haven't fully read the books. Um,
Boo!
um, I sometimes have a hard time with my attention span. I will
Oh, I see.
when I start to read after a certain period of time, I might as well be reading the same line without moving down one over and over again, and I'll just say, wait a minute, I just read that,
hmm.
and then I'll just get caught in this mode, and then it's just like, okay, I have to put this down now. Um, so I know that's kind of pathetic, but it just I was raised with movies, and so I connect to that quicker. Now, like, one that I did read the whole series was the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy series, all 5 of those books. And yes, the movies, the BBC was kind of sad compared to the book, but the damn Americanized version of that movie was just crap compared to the book. Just crap. They really just hosed even the plot line, everything. They just hosed it on that movie.
So long and thanks for the fish.
I've actually met. I went to a Douglas Adams. He was at Bates Bass Concert Hall. I mean, years ago at UT before he died.
You lucky dog.
I'm there, and I really didn't even know the book. It's just a friend took me. Hey, let's go see this guy. I was like, all right. Just went to go see him.
I would
Um,
have loved to have met him, man. I would have loved to have met him. That is still
I've seen
probably my favorite book series ever.
seen Douglas Adams. I've seen Carl Sagan.
Wow.
Before he died. Okay, well, okay. This thing crossed my mind when you were talking about reading. Do you read when you're laying in bed, or do you read sitting up, or you think
You
that has
know,
anything to do with it?
I prefer reading sitting in front of the computer and looking at a monitor.
Yeah. Um. Yeah.
I
I
don't
mean,
I don't like having to hold something up like this all the time. I mean, I'm one that, if I don't do the digital books, then I'll try to get a stand that I can have the book and I can just sit there and turn the pages and have it sitting there, like that.
nowadays you can get a Kindle. Have you tried that yet?
No, no, I don't have one yet. There is a tablet available in the house that I could use for that, but I've been just using the computer.
Um. I mean, I have like about 600 Kindle books. You get them
Oh
free.
wow.
You get them, for like 99 cents or something. And yeah, I mean, reading's pretty easy on a Kindle. Lindsay, have a Kindle?
No, I have a broken iPad. Fucking
Oh,
piece of shit. I'll never buy an Apple product again.
because well, how old was it?
It was 2 years old, and it broke at a year and a half old.
And you couldn't Apple Care it or take it back?
I had it under warranty, and I took it to the place, and they're like, "Oh, it connects to the internet here. I guess it's not broken." I'm like, "Yes, dumbass. Wait an hour, it'll disconnect." Well, I don't see it's broken, so if it's not broken, I can't fix it. And I'm like, "You're a fucking waste of time." I'm like,
Wow.
"I'm never buying a product here again."
Or was it at Best Buy?
Yep.
Yeah, Best Buy can get silly. Um, yeah, I don't. I use a tablet. I like the tablet because it's just so damn handy. Just I read comic books on the tablet. Get mail. It's a pretty simple tablet. It's only like a 2 processor when they first came out. It's like older than the hills, like 3 years old. So probably gotta get a new tablet pretty soon. You use a tablet, Kiz?
I barely. There's one available at the house. There was a Verizon offered this thing, a free tablet. All you do is have to pay for the $10 a month for the just to have it on the on the Verizon. So there's one available at the house, but I haven't really used it. I've messed
But
with tablets here and there, but I've never really owned one to really mess with. So
read books and play games, um, porn.
most of the
Um,
stuff I do is either on my little Galaxy S4 or it's on the computer. Most of it's on the computer.
yeah, if you got a phone, then you need a tablet, right, Lindsay? Didn't you get a Galaxy S4?
I got 5. That's 5 because it was water resistant.
So how's
I
that
love my
going?
S4. I love my Galaxy S4. It's great. It's yeah.
Yeah, if I smash my S5 to your S4, we can transfer files. Do you know that?
Ooh. Yep.
It's fancy. Yeah, the 3, 4, and 5 can do that. And the notes.
So how much does it cost?
Well,
Yeah,
if you have a plan, if you have something with Verizon and you have eligibility to um, get one of their deals, I think you can get it for like $50, and then you're kind of locked into a bit of a
2-year
uh,
plan?
yeah.
yeah, I'm going to do a year plan and I paid $100 for it.
Yeah, gotta pay to play. So does it storm over there quite a bit, Kiz? Or is the weather pretty temperate?
It doesn't really storm here. We get rain, but we don't really get the heavy storms like what you see in some of the other states. But we do get a lot of rain.
Yeah, we were in the middle of a drought a couple years ago, and now it's starting to wet up a bit. Like right now, I saw a flash of lightning outside, so I looked on the GIF. It says there's going to be a storm, but you know how it is. It just comes and goes quick. People right now are at the movies or they're watching their TVs. All those terrorist things that have been going on. I mean, every time you turn on the TV, it's all about the terrorist thing. What happened is they, killed those guys. I think they killed 3 guys, and a lady fled to Turkey. I just been, I haven't been following the stories. Have you been following the story, kids, about the terrorists?
Not as much. No, I just know mainly people's reactions to it is what I've been ending up seeing all the
Yeah,
time.
they
So,
burned out the terrorists. They went to the supermarket and they, had to blow them out. They killed like about 17 people altogether. Well, you've been dealing with people with what would you say? Are they reacting against the terrorist act harshly against Muslims, or what's the vibe out there, kids?
um, it has definitely brought anti-Muslim hatred out of people, and people are starting to. Uh-oh. It
Yeah,
has. It is. It has. People are trying to. People are basically saying bad things about all Muslims, and that it's ugly. I've seen some very ugly stuff.
Alrighty, just for our audience sake, just sort of do the general of what you've been like you put a video out, and what happened? People responded.
Well, I mean, there are. I'd say it's a 50-50 thing. Some people are 50% of people are being reasonable, and 50% of people are just being
Reactionary.
reactionary, totally unreasonable. Some people are even, I mean, like the Jenny, whatever her name is.
Jenny Blank.
She's basically saying that we just need to bomb them all, just bomb them all, and it's just like, what? No, that's not the answer. And there's people that are saying we just need to kick all of the Muslims out of this country and all of Europe and all this. We just need to kick them out. And I'm like, no, that's not going to work. People saying, oh, well, we need to be, questioning people whether on their beliefs and treat them differently because of their beliefs. I'm like, no, that's not going to work either. We don't want a repeat of McCarthyism.
Right.
It's just people are just going over the top in some of their reactions to this stuff, and I've been trying to make videos that are just letting people know, hey, there is a problem. Things do need to be addressed, but not like this,
Okay, let's use our own country's example. Okay, so they attacked us on 9/11. The ultimate reaction was that we invaded Iraq, right?
Yeah, and that doesn't even make sense. It's such a totally inappropriate reaction. The way Iraq didn't attack us, but let's just attack a Muslim country. Here we go.
Right.
And that seems to be what these people are pushing. The same kind of bullshit some of these people are pushing forth. It's just like you can't blame this on all Muslims. You can't.
Okay, just for the sake of our audience, let's sort of just explain, what happened. Okay, our country was attacked by terrorists, and then we went over to Iraq, invaded it, a Muslim country, and wanted to completely shape their reality towards what we deemed as what a safe Muslim country should be like, right? And we created
sort of. I think we just went in there and just did a bunch of damage, and I actually think we made things worse in Iraq than they were before.
Okay, what I'm trying to get at, Kiz, is shaping reality. The reactionary wants to shape reality, right? They want to kick all the Muslims out. They want to destroy the belief in Islam. They want to kill the people themselves, right? They want to shape reality.
Are you talking about in Iraq?
No, well, I mean, I used our example, but I mean today, with the reactionary.
Oh, yeah, people are wanting, you kind of have that, right? Yeah.
Okay. Let's look at the Buddhist monk, right? Doesn't the Buddhist monk just accept reality for the way it is? The Zen?
Yeah.
Okay, so using that sort of mindset, how should we deal with a terrorist attack upon ourselves? I mean, just hope that those people get wisdom to quit attacking us, or do we have to actually try to contact them? How?
We can't take a Buddhist monk thing. That's too far on the other side.
Is that too far on the other side?
That's too far because we can't just expect it to just go away without addressing any of it. I mean, this stuff does have to be addressed.
Hey, Tim. Okay, well.
Hey, Tim.
What's up?
We're talking about. Hey, Tim. We're talking about the terrorist attack and what the mindset, what is a good mindset, right? Not kids, not so much the proper mindset, but what's an adult mindset to take towards a terrorist attack? Okay, they attack us, and we have to realize that these people that attacked us, that's what they wanted to do, right? They wanted to mess us up and wanted us to react.
Well, I mean, they didn't. It wasn't us that they attacked, though. In this case, this was in a different country, but.
Well, okay. Well, let's go back and just take a look at 9/11. What do you think we should have done with 9/11?
Well, we should have realized. We should have really looked into, before doing any sort of. If we had to do any sort of military action, we should have been trying to figure out exactly what groups were responsible and how to tackle, doing something about those groups instead of this weird reaction of Iraq, which just didn't make any sense.
It was a yeah, it was a total misdirection. But I mean, the reality is that 9/11 was committed by our own government. Wait.
All right.
I'm just fucking with you guys.
I was gonna say,
I'm glad because I'm like, no, I don't think so.
No, I ain't a truther. Fuck that.
Okay, look. Okay, imagine this, kids. Somebody just walks up to you and punches you really hard in the arm. All right. And besides just showing the pain, you don't do anything. I mean, denying somebody their feedback, can it work? Like, they attack us in a terrorist attack, and we don't, we seemingly do nothing, right? We don't do their, the reason that they're attacking us, kids, is because they want a reaction from us, correct?
Well, we certainly, yeah, and we certainly got a reaction even beyond the Iraq thing. we pretty much hosed our comfortability at airports. We turned going to the airport into something where everyone gets treated like criminals.
Right.
And we've accepted that somehow. Somehow, you know, through all of this, we accept this idea that as soon as you walk into an airport, you're treated like a criminal.
You got to take your shoes off.
And just, I mean, yeah, everything has gotten so extreme there, and you can't even show any disgruntlement for any of it, or you're looked at as a suspect. So,
Right.
I mean, it's like you walk into an airport and you are now property of the government almost. It's.
Okay, well, okay, kids, somebody punches you in the arm and you don't give them any feedback, you know, any reaction. Wasn't that an adult thing to do? Almost like, you know, a stoic Vulcan thing to do?
Well, I suppose, like, I mean, if you're kind of wondering what would happen if we wouldn't have done anything about 9/11 and we just said, well, this is a loss, and then just tried to repair the damage, and then not even talked about it.
Well, how about this?
That would have been that certainly wouldn't have given the terrorists what they wanted, but what we did and how we reacted gave the terrorists everything they wanted.
Right, true. Okay, what I'm trying to say is that we didn't show an outward reaction. Maybe we could have done all sort of surreptitious things against them. You know what I mean? Under the view, you know, we would have done something, but you just wouldn't have not given them a visible reaction.
Well, okay, all right. Here's what I'm thinking. Okay, what we did in Afghanistan, our reaction in Afghanistan, was completely correct. I mean, we attacked them at their heart.
Terrorism.
Right. We attacked them at their heart. But then we kind of gave up on that and then focused on Iraq. It was like Iraq was an excuse, okay, for us to go into Iraq and do what we did because Bush Jr. wanted his revenge on
his dad's failing.
Yeah, and you know, to be honest, like, I mean, there's part of me that's like, well, we got rid of a horrible despot. You know,
Hussein.
Right. I mean, he was a bad person, and he really horribly destroyed lives in his country.
Yeah.
A horrible tyrant, and it's great that we got rid of him and all that, and I think that's good. But at the same time, it was like we shifted our focus for no justifiable reason. And you know, the other thing that we did wrong was that we didn't address the real problem, and the real problem is Islam. It's not terrorism. Mm-hmm. It's Islam. That's the real problem.
Well, I mean, we could try to say the same thing in this country is, oh, the real problem in this country is Christianity. It's not the bigots. It's not the people. It's not the fundamentalists. No, it's Christianity itself. And I'll have to disagree, because there's people that can take a religion and not make it into something nasty. Now, granted, I wish we could just get rid of religion, but that's not really feasible. It's not possible. So we can't really just blame it on the religion. We have to blame it on the way that people treat religion, the way that people handle religion.
Well, I think that yeah. I mean, my goal as an anti-theist is to see religion eliminated from our society, and I realize that's not going to happen probably in my lifetime, but you know, at the same time, I think we need to take the first steps, and the first steps involve subjecting religion and its claims to the same sort of scrutiny that we do any sort of hypothesis about how the world works. You know, I mean, the hypothesis is, oh, the world was created in 6 days, and on the 7th day God rested, and so on and so forth. And then there's another hypothesis which says, well, the world was created, the universe came about from Big Bang, and we have all these scientific, and we say, which one has the most evidence? I mean, we need to subject both these ideas to the same sort of scrutiny. We cannot put religious beliefs up on a pedestal. You know what I mean? We need to be able to address them, and it doesn't mean that we need to insult the people that believe in religion or we need to treat them badly, but we need to make them realize, hey, you have a belief system that really makes claims about the way reality works, and it needs to be subjected to the same sort of scrutiny that any other hypothesis is. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Agreed. I
that's
agree.
my opinion.
I agree
Yeah,
completely. Yes.
right.
All right,
Yeah.
Tim, what do you think about somebody punching you in the arm, and
Mhm.
other than showing the pain reflex, you give them no feedback reaction? Do you think that's an adult thing to do, or
Well, I
it's
mean, right. Well, it's one thing when someone punches you in the arm. It's completely a different thing when somebody flies a jetliner full of
all
passengers
right?
into an office building and
Okay,
kills
well, I
thousands
mean,
of people.
think about that. I mean, why does that have to be? Why can't you just scale up your adulthood, your non-response?
Well,
You see what I'm trying to say is like the
no,
terrorist
I know what
wants
you
a
mean, but
reaction.
it doesn't scale. It doesn't scale. I know they want a reaction, but the worst thing you could do is not react. Is not do anything
Really?
about it. I
Why is
agree.
that
Yeah.
the worst thing, not to react? I mean, we're going to react, but not, openly, not visibly. That's
Well, look, Al Qaeda was a serious, serious threat in
right.
2001. They did some pretty substantial damage, and to let them simply do what they did and not have any sort of reaction would have
Well, we're going to
simply.
react, but it's going to be hidden.
Well, I mean, how would you? What way would you react? What way would you react, Kiz? I mean, what would you do?
Well, like I was saying, I would have just. I mean, I can't see not reacting at all, but I would have been just. The main thing would have been research, research, research. Figure out who exactly
We have to
caused this.
infiltrate.
What groups are somewhat behind this? What groups are connected to those groups? And try to see if there's something that can be done about that to cut that back before going into a full-fledged military action. Now, if we have to go into a military action, then it would be going specifically after the groups that were responsible, not anyone else.
And,
Well,
I think we did that at first. I mean, we did that at first. We attacked them at their heart in Afghanistan. We were on the right track, and then it was like we gave up. And we're like, whatever, what the fuck? We're gonna concentrate on Iraq. Like it was just a total shift of our resources for no justifiable reason.
okay. First, we have to infiltrate these guys, right? Remember,
Right.
in the Cold War, we couldn't have a war with Russia because that would be the end of the world, right? That would have been a nuclear war if we ever
We
had.
would nuked each other into oblivion. Yeah.
Right. So what we did was infiltrate each other. So we
But
have to.
that's hard to do, though, because our cultures are so radically different.
You don't think we can make a perfect Al Qaeda? I mean, I think in 2001, like we learned about Arabs really quick, don't you think so? In 2001, after they attacked us, man, we took a crash course and everything Arab. I'd say within
No,
about
I
six
still don't think
months.
I don't think we know shit about Arabs still.
But I mean, enough to
Yeah.
infiltrate them. I think we could have.
No,
You
I
don't
don't think
think we
so.
could have infiltrated those guys?
Our entire approach on life, on just everything is so
Okay,
different than over there.
in
We would
6 months.
have to have some very specialized people working on stuff, and then we'd have to worry about whether they're going to switch sides.
Fine, but did you think in 6 months we could have come up with a pretty damn good candidates to infiltrate those guys? I mean, we could have even bought, other
I think
people
it
to
would take
infiltrate those
years
guys.
for us to figure out how to infiltrate them, not just months.
I don't know. I think in 6 months. If I was president, I would have said, "Okay, CIA, come
Our
through for me
intelligence
now."
isn't that good. I mean, we have good intelligence, but it's not that good. It's not like this over-the-top stuff that you picture in movies. It's not.
Yeah. That shit is
So
that's Hollywood right
you
there.
guys don't think we could have come up with infiltrators in about 6 months?
No, no.
All right. Well, here's. Have you guys heard of the group Anonymous?
Yeah.
Definitely,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, a group of hackers, sort of a decentralized group. They operate in sort of the same way that Al Qaeda does. They don't have any centralized.
Cells.
Yeah, they operate in cells. I don't know if you heard, but recently they actually declared war on ISIS and Al Qaeda. And what they are doing is a big source of their of Al Qaeda and ISIS's support comes from their social media. Like they're really utilizing social media. And so Anonymous said, "Fuck that. We're going to close down all of your accounts. We're going to hack all of your websites. We're going to make sure you can't communicate." And that actually, I can link you to the story, but like that's the correct approach. Like,
Okay, interdiction.
I can agree with that. Yeah.
Disrupt their ability to communicate with each other. I mean,
interdiction and disruption.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you don't need overt military action to take out these groups, because all that does is destroy isolated pockets. If you can keep them from communicating with each other, like Anonymous is trying to do, like they did to Scientology. I don't know if you remember that, but they fucked up the Church of Scientology pretty bad. Now they're focusing on ISIS and Al Qaeda, and that would be the correct approach. Send NSA's, hacking specialists after them, and just destroy their ability to communicate. That would be the best idea, I think.
Okay, how could we have prevented Paris attack? Could we have done that? Because we had our own Paris attack with the Sharnoff brothers. You remember they set off the bomb at the Boston Marathon? See, the same thing was like in Paris this time about. There was these two brothers that did the terrorist attack.
I don't know. What do you think, Iz?
I mean, they knew that these Sharnoffs were bad people.
Well, the thing about the Charlie Hebdo thing is that, they were exercising freedom of expression, but part of the issue, is that there was too much tolerance in Europe, and there is, for extremists, and allowing them a place to gather in Western society and exercise their.
They're just opening themselves up for terrorism.
I honestly think they did, because we need to recognize what the root of the problem is, and to ignore, to say that religion isn't the problem, that these people would have done it anyway without religion, I think is ridiculous.
Willfully ignorant.
Yeah, well, religion, their beliefs that there are not supposed to be any graven images of Muhammad, is precisely what led to them committing the acts they did. And so if there was less tolerance for that kind of behavior, less tolerance for extreme preachers and, what is it called, imams, I guess?
Yeah, imams.
Yeah, for their rhetoric, I think that would have changed things. But at the same time, you have to balance that with freedom of speech, right? I mean,
Okay, how about this, Tim? You're a programmer, right? You know what the term honeypot means?
I don't know.
You know a honeypot, when they set up a little, something for a hacker to come, that a hacker sees a target, and it's so delicious that the hacker can't pass up. But they know they're set up the honeypot just to catch, just to expose their own vulnerability. It's something that they do. It's like to catch a thief. They want to catch these hackers.
As a trick, it's a trap, basically.
It's a trap, right? So
I don't know. I'm not a hacker, so shit. I don't know.
So now we know that these Muslim types always attack, people that make fun of Muhammad with a cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
So you can, if you set up a honeypot for them, you can always, pull them out of your society. They'll always attack, somebody who's making fun of a Muslim, of a Muhammad cartoon.
I mean, the problem is that we allow people. I mean, we allow people to have their beliefs. That's fine. That's one thing. But when their beliefs promote violence and promote destruction and killing of infidels and so forth, that's when you've reached the level where something needs to be done. Like, like I said, it's difficult to balance that with freedom of speech, but
right. Okay.
At the same time,
imagine this, Tim. Like, we set up some guy who supposedly looks like an imam, and he's like a totally radical hate, and then we put him out in the system just to see who gets attracted to him. See what I mean? And
No,
then we bust those people.
That's not a bad idea, actually.
You know, use the honeypot strategy to catch all these freaking radicals.
That's not a bad idea, honestly. But I don't know. I think
everybody knows religion's full of horse shit. I don't know who the hell stands up for it, man.
I think Kiz went offline or something. It's not.
Yeah, he went to the restroom or something. But I mean, we want to be all freedom of religion and nicey nice towards these freaking radicals. But
well,
I mean, they've already ruined after 9/11. They've already, made their statement. We know what it's all about by now.
Well, I mean,
they raise their kids to blow themselves up.
It's a combination of factors. I mean, the West has a significant amount of blame in this issue because after World War I, when the Ottoman Empire fell, the British Empire essentially came in, and other allied nations essentially came in and split up the Middle East into these arbitrary countries and set up these these Western-style governments and essentially suppressed the culture of the Middle East. And that led to a lot of bitterness and hatred on the part of the people in the Middle East because they wanted their culture, which is understandable. They wanted their culture. They wanted it to be the way it was. But what happened was that they weren't angry extremists before then. I mean, extreme Islam was not a problem in the past prior to this. What happened was that there was this fuel of
hatred.
Of hatred for the Western system that was imposed on them after World War I, when the Ottoman Empire fell, and they imposed these sort of Western-style governments on these arbitrarily drawn country lines, right? And Islam provided the fuel for their anger. It provided a sort of reason, a justification for their hate, and that is sort of like festered. That's sort of festered over time, and it has led to what we see now, backward societies that rely on things as archaic as Sharia law.
Yeah, it's their culture.
Right. Well, and that's why they hate the West. They say they hate the West. Well, there's a reason they hate the West, because the West imposed a ridiculous system of governments on them that they retaliated against.
Okay, imagine this, Tim. I just thought this up. Let's suppose that we put together some ancient-looking Hadith manuscript, right? And bury it over there, somewhere maybe close to Israel, somewhere in the boonies, and then discover it, and then inside it says something like, thou shalt respect Westerners. See what I mean? And then, we could have our own guys authenticate it. And then those guys will, well, I guess this is an ancient manuscript that tells us to quit doing this stuff. See what I mean? What do you think of that?
Well, that's pretty sneaky. I don't know if it would. That's pretty sneaky. I mean.
Okay, listen, we know what makes them tick, right? They love religion. And they love radicalism. Can't we just play with it to our own ends?
Well, it's one of those things where it's a combination. It's a combination of the hatred for the Western world, and the
religion.
Well, yeah, that's the point. Is that religion is the basis for all of this. There really is no other explanation for why people act the way they do. You cannot excuse religion and say, oh, well, there's moderates. There's people who are moderate. All those moderates simply ignore the mandates of their religion. I mean, what they pick and choose what they want and what they don't want. They don't necessarily follow their religion to the letter. The extremists do. I mean, the extremists follow their religion to the letter. They
All
follow
right.
all of the mandates.
So all we got to do is make something that looks exactly like their religion and bury it out in the desert and discover it.
I, I don't know. I mean, if they would believe it, um, if they would accept it, I don't know. I mean, that's a good question. But I don't
The
know.
key to these nuts is that the religion is the key to these nuts. That's what we need to take advantage of.
No, that's the point. That's the thing that people ignore. Like they want to pretend that extremism has nothing to do with religion, that terrorism has nothing to do with religion. And that's because they're afraid. They're afraid to admit that religion provides the fuel for these people to commit the acts that they do. I mean, you know, they shouted, the people who shut up Charlie Hebdo. They shouted, you
Allahu
know,
Akbar.
they shouted Allahu Akbar, but they shouted, "This is in vengeance of the Prophet Muhammad." And I mean, it's obvious what their intentions were. It's obvious why they did what they did, and to sit there and say, "Oh, well, it had nothing to do with religion. It was completely." They were just radicals, and they didn't follow the mandates of their religion.
Hey,
It's
okay.
bullshit.
How about
Right.
this idea, Tim?
Sure.
Okay, we make a surreptitious Muhammad movie, but sort of make Muhammad say Jesus things, Jesus type stuff. What do you think of that? Like Jesusify Muhammad.
Well, he's already Jesusified. I mean,
But I mean, he's
um,
not like this. Jesus is a big lovey-dovey, I love mankind type personality. Can we do that with Muhammad?
well, I mean, Jesus is not lovey-dovey. If you read what he had to say, I
Oh,
mean,
I know, but
honestly,
if you ask anybody about Jesus, they're going to say he's lovey-dovey, though, Tim.
sure, that's what they're going to say. But I mean, it's not actually what the Bible says.
I know, but the thing is that we are like the propaganda people. We're like the message makers. Could we like play with it to our own advantage?
Well, I suppose we could. There is a sense in which um, people well, there's a sense in which people kind of pick and choose what they want to out of what a person has to say. Like I say, with Jesus, he wasn't lovey-dovey all the time. He had some pretty extreme and horrible things to say as well. And Muhammad, had some pretty extreme things to say. I don't know if you were to insert some lovey-dovey quotes into the Quran or the Hadiths, I
Mhm.
don't think it would make a difference. I really don't.
Try
Um,
to neutralize it,
well,
even it out.
but you couldn't. I don't think you could, because it's a combination of this extremely angry culture, all right,
Okay.
and a religion that provides the excuse for what they do. Um, does that make sense?
Okay, so like when we're going to a mosque, we want to have anger there, right? You know,
There's a lot of anger in Islam. I mean, it's just inherent in the religion. But at the same time, um, the Middle East, as I said, has been pretty ravaged by the West, and so they have a lot of bitterness and hatred. And their Quran provides justification for their hatred.
okay, so we couldn't like make up this sort of Quranic cult that's all lovey-dovey and sort of inject it, in strategic message places in the Middle East.
I don't think it would work. I
Really,
mean,
that they would say like, why are these guys so lovey-dovey? Or do you think, like Sufism, like an extreme Sufism?
well, but here's the problem. You have extremely angry people and bitter people who live in bad living conditions. I mean,
And so they don't want to hear the lovey-dovey message.
yeah, right? They don't want that. I mean, maybe one individual person may, but as a whole, the culture does not want that. They want a reason to hate things. Um,
If we could Mormonize Islam,
if we could what?
Mormonize Islam,
What does that mean exactly?
just make up our own shit and inject it in there. It's strategic places to just, neutralize the whole angry effect of Islam.
Well, I mean, I suppose you could, but I don't know if it'd be I don't know if it'd be practical or possible to do that. I mean, it's a good idea, but I don't know if it could happen, right?
Okay, and then the other thing is like if we could make them make a honeypot target that we know they'd always attack instead of like Charlie Hebdo, some honeypot that we know that a nut would rather attack than the civilian target that he picked.
Wait, say that again?
Like, okay, honeypot. We have to make a target that the Islamic radicals we know will prefer attacking other than our own people. See what I mean?
Right.
Like, Charlie Hebdo, if there would have been something more attractive to attack than Charlie Hebdo, then the Islams would have attacked that.
Well, they attacked it because they have a mandate in their religion which says there shall be no graven images of Muhammad.
Right.
And the problem with Islam is that they believe that everyone in the world should follow Islam.
So what you do is you make a picture of a graphic depiction of Muhammad in an open place, but so that that no civilians will get harmed when they attack it. See what I mean?
Well,
So,
they could shoot up a picture, but that's not what they want to do. They want to
well, I
kill
mean,
the
we'll
people
make
that
a
made the
statue.
picture.
We'll make like a sculpture and stick it in the middle of a field.
Right.
An open sacrilegious of Muhammad, and then those guys will just can't hate it. They'll attack it, and we know, since they're attacking a non-populous area, we can control that attack.
Well, I don't think they would. I don't think anybody in their right mind would shoot up a picture. They would
They
want
try to
shoot
blow up a statue of a sacrilegious.
or a statue. I mean, they're going to want to go for the people that created it. I mean, whoever that is. I mean, they don't. It's not so much the image itself. It's the fact that it's an insult to them, and
All
so
right.
they're going to go after the people who they believe insulted their religion. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean,
Okay, how
oh my
about
God,
this?
you made a picture of my prophet, and I'm going to kill you now. Like, it's fucking ridiculous, but that's what the Quran says to do. I mean,
How about if we made a ship and then we, said that all they do in this ship all day is sacrilege against Muhammad, and then put it out, in the bay, so they would have to take effort to get out to the ship to blow it up. See what I mean? That's one way of making a honeypot that these guys will attack rather than a civilian target.
I mean, we could have them attack useless targets, or we could just attack the problem at its heart.
Yeah, but we don't know where the nuts are. See what I mean? We have to have them, show themselves first before we attack.
Sure, but the root of the problem is Islam, and that's what I'm trying to say.
Right.
I mean, it's Islam. It's which just like Christianity leads to a lack of interest in any sort of scientific explanation for the world. We need more scientifically literate people, and that's really important. If we were to teach people to think critically, both Christians, Muslims, Jews, whoever, we were to teach people to think critically, they would reject the religion because a religion does not provide evidence for the claims it makes. So the issue at the heart is a lack of literacy in the scientific method and critical thinking, right?
Okay, tell me what an Islam hates. They hate if you sacrilege Muhammad, right?
Right.
If you slight Muhammad, what else do they hate? All our values.
Well, they hate anything which isn't Islamic. I mean,
Women on the same level as men. They hate.
right. Yes, they. I mean, to them, women should be treated as cattle, essentially, things to be used for procreation and so forth, and that's why they force people they force women
Okay.
to wear burqas.
They hate Jews. I mean, they hate Jews.
All right, I know they hate Jews, right? There's a.
So put Jews out there. Got to have Jews. Women equality. They hate gays.
Yeah.
They hate sacrilege against Muhammad.
Mm-hmm.
What else do they hate? Yeah, that's about it, right?
Infidels, anybody who does not prescribe to their particular version of reality.
They hate each other. They blow each other up.
Well, they do that. Yeah, I mean the Sharia or the Shia and the Sunni.
Sunnis, yeah.
I mean, and it's all over. It's all a disagreement over who the successor to Muhammad is. I mean, it's that ridiculous. Like, I mean, it's they argue over. They kill each other over the fact that one of them believes that one person is the successor to Muhammad, whereas another person believes that a different person is the successor to Muhammad. I mean,
Right.
it's that ridiculous. I mean, and they kill each other over that.
So what we can do is, we have some set targets, to suck these guys out.
Like what would you say then? What would you mean then?
We could make a target like a boat with full of Jews, women, gays. Something stuck out there we know that the terrorists would want to go at.
Well, so whatever. A few, maybe 10 terrorists attack it, and we kill 10 terrorists.
Well, that's 10 terrorists that we got rid of. I'll take that.
Sure, but Islam is going to create more.
I know.
The problem is you need to attack the problem at its root, and that's what I'm saying. It doesn't involve military action. To really get rid of the problem,
we have to destroy that religion.
You have to destroy people's willingness and to be credulous and believe things without evidence. I mean, that's the crux of it, isn't it? I mean, people aren't religious because they examined all the evidence and there was evidence to support some particular religion. No, they believe in a particular religion either because they were told to as they were raised, or because they have an emotional need to have an explanation for their life. And they don't necessarily use critical thinking skills. Developing those critical thinking skills through teaching the scientific method, through teaching science. I mean, that's really the only way you can change people and make them understand that, hey, this is a collection of fairy tales that have no evidence.
Right.
And that's the crux. That's the crux of the matter, is the religion itself. That's what fuels it. And anyone who says that Islam has nothing to do with terrorists is an idiot.
Okay.
So, right.
All right. But what do you think of those people, Tim? I mean, where are they coming from? Why are they saying that Islam isn't with terrorists? They just want to be contrary, or what?
They want to be politically correct. We have this feeling in our society that religion is on a pedestal above everything else, and it cannot be criticized, it cannot be scrutinized, it cannot be subjected to the same sort of scrutiny that we would subject any other hypothesis, because it provides comfort for them. Well, here's the problem. It's great that it provides comfort, but it also provides them with a whole host of delusional beliefs.
True.
And that sort of thing leads to what we see in terrorism and things like white supremacy. I mean, all these things are rooted in religion.
Okay, so why does somebody want to delude themselves by saying Islam is a religion of peace?
They say that because they want to be politically correct, and because we have been trained in our society to treat religion as something which is
nice.
We've been trained to believe that religion is something which is on a pedestal, away from our scrutiny and beyond our ability to really analyze it and treat it and subject it to the same sort of criticism that we would anything else. That's the problem, right? So
right. Okay, but do you think what's a masochist? Why does a masochist do what they want? Because they self-loathe themselves? Because they hate themselves inside?
Strange change of subject, but
I mean, this is what these people are. They're masochists. Oh, Islam is a religion of peace. After they blew up our towers, right? Come on.
Well, they want to find alternate explanations because, like I said, we've been trained in our society to treat religion with a sort of as if it's sacrosanct, and sacrosanct and not susceptible to any sort of critical analysis. And so they want to find other explanations for why people flew planes into the World Trade Center.
Instead of the obvious.
Instead of the obvious answer, which is because their religion told them to do it.
Right.
I mean, you know, you have people who, well, sure, there are Muslims who will not do that, but that's because they don't necessarily follow the mandates of their religion.
Right.
The religion teaches them to act in such a way, just like Christianity teaches people to leave their mothers and reject their mothers and their fathers and their families and follow Jesus, and it teaches you know, the rich to give away all their money to the poor. How many Christians do you see doing that? They don't follow the mandates of their religion, but that doesn't mean that somehow they are they're just moderates. No, it just means they aren't properly following what their religion tells them to do, which means they're hypocrites. They're hypocrites. I mean, this is the word of God. This is the word of Allah.
Right.
Oh, but we can disregard such and such and such and such. Well, guess what? There are some people who aren't hypocrites, who believe everything that's written in those books and act on everything that's written in those books.
Truly.
And that's the problem. So, you know.
Yeah, that's it, pretty much.
Wait,
let me see.
Is this being recorded?
Anyway, so I'm thinking, all right, we talked about the honeypot strategy. We talked about, you know, the mechanics of the religion. And then our people on our own side that, you know, want to claim that, you know, Islam is a religion of peace and all that baloney.
That's bullshit. You're right.
I think we've covered the topic. I mean, all I know is that you can't open yourself up for these radical terrorist attacks. You know, it's just a matter of time. That place was attacked before. Did you go to the wiki thing, that Charlie Hebdo place? It was attacked before.
No, I didn't know that. I knew about the shooting, but I didn't realize it had been attacked previously.
Yeah, that's why they had a guard out there. Yeah, I mean, it's just a matter of time.
Right.
I mean, if the FBI knows, I think, you know, tell me what you think of this, or tell me you think this is off. Anybody who claims they want to go to Syria right now should be investigated. You know what I mean? I mean, that's a giveaway if there's anything. You know, why do you want to go to Syria now, right?
That's yeah, probably. I mean, you know, people bitch about profiling, but yeah.
Okay, so let's talk profiling. I mean,
it is. Well, it is. I mean, this person wants to go to Syria. Let's investigate why they want to go to Syria. That's profiling. I mean,
right? Does profiling make, even though everybody hates it, doesn't it make sense?
It does. It absolutely does. I mean,
like, we don't want to pull somebody over for being black. You know what I mean? Driving while black.
Right. I mean, no. There's a fine line between behaving in a racist manner. Yeah, behaving in a racist manner and honestly, you know, investigating. Right. I mean, and my opinion about it is that, you know, it provides some. It causes some momentary discomfort for somebody. Oh, you know, I look Arab, and you investigated me because I look Arab. Oh my goodness, my life is over. No, just move on with your life. You know, because guess what? The people who flew the planes into the World Trade Center were Arabic Muslims.
Saudis, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's what they were. They were Saudis. That's what they were. And to say, well, we don't need to, you know, to concentrate on one particular race is wrong, is to basically say, well, we don't want to provide momentary discomfort for somebody. You know, it's ridiculous, right?
Okay, let's set up the profile. Let's just be programmers here. Okay, a young Arab men, obviously, right? You know, up to 30s, because they're so, what do you say, fervent and deluded. It's like the military wants the kids young, right, at 18. The same thing with terrorists. The terrorist organization want these guys at 18. You know, they're haven't figured it all out yet. Of course, they have to be Islamic, right?
Well, yeah, I mean,
you know, it doesn't. I've never seen no atheist terrorist attack. You know, these guys are all.
I challenge anybody to tell me that an atheist has committed a terrorist attack because they were an atheist.
And then, so you got the Islam, you got the young man. Anybody who says they want to go to where the action is, they'll go to Syria. You know, that's under investigation right there. I mean, in my mind.
Pretty unusual. Yeah, it's pretty unusual.
Um,
Yeah,
disgruntled. You know, if they're disgruntled for something against the West, you want to kind of look into that.
well, I mean, one of the interesting things about the people who flew the planes into the World Trade Center is that a significant portion of them were fairly successful people who grew up in the West.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, that's something that people don't realize, is that you weren't dealing with people who were disadvantaged. They did what they did because they lived disadvantaged lives. No, that's bullshit. They didn't. I mean, that's not why they did what they did. They did it because they sincerely believed in their religion. What was his name? Oh shit. Hold
The
on.
main guy, what was? I already forgot his name.
Yeah, I
I
can't
know the
remember.
one we got alive was Musawi, but the other guy, I forgot his name. Anyway, yeah, keep going.
Musawi. Hold on a second.
His last name was an A, I believe. I can't remember it.
Yeah, damn it. Here we go. Muhammad Atta.
Yeah, Atta.
Muhammad Atta. Marwan al-Shahi and Ziad Jarrah. Okay, these people, they were taking classes. They were like, for example,
Flight school.
yeah, academic studies. Muhammad Atta.
He was an architect.
Let's see. He specialized was concerned about the modern development and construction of high-rise buildings in Cairo. He believed the large. He was an intelligent and well-off person who lived in Germany and took classes.
Right.
I mean, he was not some disadvantaged Arab that lived in the poor neighborhood, and thus his crime was a result of his disadvantagedness and his whatever. He did what he
oppression.
did. Yeah, no, it's bullshit. I mean, to claim that they did what they did because they were disadvantaged people. No,
there's a lot of things we could use to our advantage. Okay, they'll never. If we haven't had one with a female terrorist attack. I mean, the Russians have those, but we haven't. They're always males, right?
Well, actually, there have been. When I was in the Army, one of the stories people used to tell was of being in Iraq and having checkpoints, and women would walk up with babies, and the baby they would entice the service members to say, oh, what a cute baby, and hold the baby and whatnot. The baby was actually strapped with bombs, and they'd blow themselves up.
Like
and
Vietnam,
the baby.
dude.
Yeah, no, it's pretty fucked up. No, there are definitely women terrorists, Islamic terrorists.
But they can't stand them, for a major terrorist project. I don't think they could stand having a woman. For like, what would you say? What do they call that? The partisans, like partisan actions, you could use a woman, but not for one of their, flying planes into the building type projects. They can't. They probably won't work with a female.
Maybe not. I mean, they were also interested in the practicality of the matter. If using a woman would have been practical, then I think they would have used that. I mean, there's this sort of.
So maybe we could make a honeypot with women.
There's sort of this conflict between what the religion tells us to do and what's practical, right? So, in some sense, if using a woman would be more practical, they may use a woman, even if they don't believe that a woman is eligible to be a martyr, whatever.
Okay, why don't we do this? We set up very attractive and alluring Islamic women in our major cities, right?
Right.
And they always put out the signal on the street that they're looking for terrorist types. That's what really turns them on, right?
Right.
And then we see who dredges up, right?
Well, I don't know. I don't know if I mean, the problem is that, Bunto, is that all of your ideas are good, but they only would eliminate. They would cut off the leaves from the weed. They wouldn't pull the weed out. Yeah, they wouldn't pull the weed out at its root. And its root is lack of scientific literacy and a fanatical devotion to their religion. That's the root. And if you really want to eliminate these problems, that's what you're going to have to do.
Okay, like we are all Photoshop experts in the West, right?
Well, I suppose. I mean, I know Photoshop
Pretty
enough
good,
to
right?
get by. Right, yeah.
Like,
I mean,
so, let's say we get photos of their leaders, right? Al Qaeda leaders,
hmm
and like make them in compromising positions and just dump them, put them in strategic places over there, Syria, Iraq, you know what I mean? And then they're going to spend more time trying to, fight the accusation. Hey, I got a photo of you with a Christian woman. See what I mean? Than handling their own organization.
yeah, that would be fine. Well, like I said, the group Anonymous is trying to basically remove their ability to communicate, disrupt
Right.
their ability to communicate with one another, which I think is a fantastic idea. And I fully support Anonymous in that endeavor, and I think it will be very effective because communication is everything for these decentralized cell-type organizations like
That's
Al-Qaeda.
true. Decentralized cell, man.
Yeah, well, that's what they are. I mean, that's what Al
Right.
Qaeda is.
Well, I mean, there's a lot I could think of by the woman. We could use the woman. We could use compromising images. Something that they would have to take time to explain. To their comrades.
Right.
Work on their strength of their structure. These people got to eat, so
Right.
set up some Middle Eastern restaurants in all the major towns. Yeah, they got to go to them, don't you think?
Well,
Just
why not?
study who the heck are going to these restaurants.
Hey, is this going to be on YouTube?
Yeah.
It is. Oh, great. Well, listen, I tell you what, I have to go now.
Okay. Well, yeah. Thanks for coming, Tim, and have a good night. And thanks for participating in this hangout.